Look at the pictures on the screen. The first depicts a game of chess. The second one a game of hide and seek. Although both are called games, it will not be difficult to imagine the differences. While chess is played by a fixed number of 2 people, hide and seek is a group game that can be played by 2 or more. To play chess, a chessboard and chess pieces are necessary, while hide and seek does not require very specific playing objects. The children can use already existing things to hide. A tree, for example. Now try to think of the similarities between these 2 games. Can you name one? Okay, let's go over the similarities together. This is important because these similarities form the building blocks to define games. Usually games share 5 specific characteristics. They are goal-oriented. You have to follow specific rules while playing them. They have some kind of feedback system when you play, and often there is a competition element. Finally, they are voluntary, meaning that you decide if you like to play or not. We will now take a closer look at the game of chess. The animation shows you the 5 characteristics applied to this particular game.
So, you've invited a friend over to play a nice game of chess. Well, nice. Of course, you both try your hardest to win. And to do so, you have to take her king. But that's easier said than done. There are a lot of rules you have to take into account. All the pieces start at a fixed place, for example. And each piece can only move across the board in a certain way. Hey, that's cheating. The game's going pretty well, that is until you make a wrong move, and one of your pieces immediately gets taken. Luckily, in the end, you still win. And your friend, well...
Well, this was quite a competition until one player reached his goal. The rules of chess stand out, in particular when they are broken. Here it resulted in immediate feedback. Concerning the voluntary nature of play, well, they choose themselves to play, but whether these 2 will ever play again, I don't know. So now you understand the basic characteristics of games in general. These characteristics apply to entertainment games, the type of games that most people are familiar with. However, many people do not know serious games, and there is often confusion about the term. We have to admit, it sounds like an oxymoron. The words serious and games seem to be contradicting each other. Can games be serious? And does that mean that they're not fun at all? Well, serious games can definitely be fun. But the most important thing that sets them apart from entertainment games is their educational purpose. Serious game developers intend to teach their players something. For example, awareness of a certain issue, information, or an attitude change. The makers of serious games apply motivation principles from entertainment games and use these to teach their players something in an engaging way. The purpose of the game is thus different from pure entertainment games. Also, entertainment games might teach their players something, but their primary motive is to entertain. Taking this primary difference into account, the definition of serious games we will use in this course is as follows. Serious games are games that use computer game and simulation approaches, or the technologies, for primarily non-entertainment purposes. An example of a serious game is Darfur is Dying. In this game, the player is a refugee in Darfur who needs to survive. If you would play, you would, for example, need to get water from a well. There are obstacles you need to conquer, for example, hostilities from militia. During the game, you are informed about the situation of refugees in Darfur and you are prompted to take action in real life. The makers of the game hope that by playing you get more involved and knowledgeable of the situation. We will address this particular game and its aims in more detail in the next video. A serious game can have all the elements that characterize any other game like chess, as discussed in the beginning of this video. It can be goal-oriented, with specific rules, a feedback system and a competitive element. The only characteristic that is sometimes not present in serious games is the voluntary character. Since these games are generally used in an educational setting or a training situation, players will often be asked or told to play a certain simulation or game. Serious games are different from other media products such as educational movies or books because they offer an experience in which the player is actively involved in making decisions. The player is immersed in the game experience and is receiving feedback over his or her own decisions. This is also why serious games are supposed to achieve a better learning outcome. According to the researchers Ritterveld, Cody and Vorderer, who wrote the book on the mechanisms and effects of serious games are both educational and enjoyable because they are intrinsically motivating. The game environment is responsive and can have a complexity that allows for learning opportunities. In this MOOC, we do not consider serious games to be a genre. Serious games can be made in all game genres that you can imagine, from shooters to strategy games to casual games on your phone, or in the form of large-scale simulation games. Sometimes even advertisements are made in the form of a serious game. Later in this course, we will present a classification of serious games based on the sector they are applied in, such as health or education. But first, my colleague Joyce Nijs will introduce you to our first case, Darfur is Dying. Check it out in the next video.